looks scary. They don't make them like they used to. Alright, boys. Today we have become a react channel. Okay, I ain't no Blasphemous HD out here, but I be trying to make a living.
What is that?
And this is the easiest and fastest content I can come up with. So normally I try not to cringe. I try not to laugh. I try not to emote. I try not to die of obesity. Today I thought I'd do something scary. Since it's almost Halloween. It's only like what? 10 months and 30 days from Halloween, so I figured I'd do something for Halloween, because Halloween's almost here, boys. So, yeah, let's do something for Halloween. So, if we need to, I have 3 knives, 2 baseball bats, and 1 50 cal. Oh my god, I'm God. Okay. So, yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen. Actually, hold up. I want to see this light. We have 1 light now, dude. We don't play like that. Not in this house. Okay, I'm white, but I'm more black than I am white.
Boy!
Alright, so let's just watch this. Hold up. Okay. Fuck that. I'm drinking water.
I recently moved out, and I already have a horror story to tell. The house I moved into isn't anything impressive. It's just a house that's appropriate for 1 or 2 people. But
Okay.
I'd say right away, I started hearing weird sounds coming from inside the walls. I first heard it in the kitchen, and then in the bathroom, but on night 3, I started hearing it in my bedroom. I was sure there was some kind of animal living in my walls. I just had to figure out how to get rid of it. The next morning, I didn't even have enough milk to fill the bowl of cereal. I couldn't believe I hadn't realized I needed more milk. In fact, I seemed to be eating up all of my food pretty fast. I woke up in the middle of that night to the sound of breathing. Not my breathing. It sounded just like the breathing of a person. I flipped the lamp on and it stopped. I chalked it up as my mind playing tricks on me.
If I hear breathing in my house, I don't care who it is.
The next day was
They
really
getting
hot,
shot.
so I turned on the AC for the first time. I checked every single vent, and some of them weren't blowing any air. One of them being the vent right next to my bed. I peered through the vent with a flashlight. There wasn't even a duct behind the vent. It was just the inside of the wall. It seemed that whatever air duct was in there had been removed. Unfortunately, I didn't look into the air conditioning system while buying the house, so I didn't know about this. That night, I had to sleep in the heat with no AC, so I was up pretty late, constantly rolling around and flipping the pillow over. Then, I eventually started to hear the breathing again, but this time, I was fully awake. I knew it was real this time. It was coming to my left. I looked to my left at the air vents. The sound was surely coming from in there. I grabbed the flashlight again and shined it in through the vent. I dropped it and screamed. There was someone's face peering through the cracks of the vents. The first thing I saw were their eyes, open wide and glowing. I screamed all the way down and out the house. I soon found out there was a crazy, dangerous homeless man living in my walls, and he had been eating my food ever since I moved in.
Hell no, dude. I ain't fucking...
When I was a kid, my parents would sometimes bring me down to my aunt and uncle's place to stay for the weekend. Mainly, I'd spend time playing with my 2 cousins who were around the same age as me. They lived on a small farm with plenty of open space, and we could run around doing pretty much whatever we wanted. If we thought we could get away with it, the 3 of us would sometimes cross over to the neighboring farm about half a mile away. It had been abandoned for decades, with a scattering of derelict buildings and other structures still standing on the property, just begging to be explored. This was of course a goldmine for 3 adventurous young boys such as ourselves, especially after my cousins told me stories about the deaths that took place in the house. It was pretty classic fare. Man goes crazy, axe murders his entire family, hangs himself, returns every night as an angry spirit looking for new victims. Good, grisly stuff.
Oh, hell no.
Even at
Dude,
that
that
age,
was true.
I knew they were probably making it up, or at least embellishing old rumors. But seeing as how the setting lent itself so well to such tales, I allowed myself to buy into it. One afternoon, we decided to play hide and seek. When it was my turn to hide, I ran off for a flimsy brown barn that had living quarters on top and climbed the stairs looking for a good spot. There was still furniture inside, and personal belongings lay scattered across the floor. I maneuvered over broken dishes, tattered clothes, and crumbling books, eventually coming to a small room with a closet. Jackpot. There were even long black dresses still hanging on the rod that I could hide behind. I stepped inside and managed to force shut the folding door. My only illumination was a slit of sunlight that shone through the crack in the door from a nearby window. I crouched down with knees tucked into chest and waited. Some time passed and there was still no sign of my seekers. I waited some
this
more,
is not gonna end
debating
well,
if and when
boys.
I should give myself up. After nearly an hour,
dude,
this was
fuck these
starting to get
stories.
boring. My
These
head
stories
drooped.
give me... They give
I
you
woke
that
with a
one
jerk.
sense where it's like,
It was
this
pitch
happened to
black.
me, dude.
Drowsy and
Fucking
confused,
grab a gun and
I
just...
forgot for a minute where I was or what I had been doing.
Or I just run, dude.
As it
Like,
came back to me,
I ain't no
the
pussy
realization
bitch,
that it was
but
now
if
nighttime
some,
and
like,
that I had been
demon
abandoned here filled
from
me with
the
sinking
depths
dread
of
in
hell
the pit of
comes
my
and runs
stomach.
at me, nah,
I tried to get up,
I
but
ain't
a
trying to
sudden
shoot
cramp
at
in my
that.
calf
I
kept me
ain't trying to
grounded.
fight that. I ain't trying to do anything
I
with that. I
squirmed
just...
about, waiting for it to pass, when I heard a door slam and
out of
shut
there.
downstairs,
I don't want to mess with demons.
and instantly froze. One of my cousins? There was a brief period of silence, then footsteps at the bottom of the stairs. But not just footsteps, a thud too. After every other step. These weren't the footfalls of a child. They were slow, heavy, deliberate. I held my breath, praying they would go away. They did not. The noises continued to ascend. After another moment of silence, the walking resumed. This time, along with a steady scraping sound.
Is he
like
carrying a
something
dead
heavy
body?
being dragged across the floorboards. The footsteps made their way through the debris and wandered aimlessly through the various rooms. I thought I could smell something faintly putrid. The constant scrape sent cold shivers coursing down my arms and back. My worst fears were realized when the steps reached the bedroom doorway. They got closer and closer and finally stopped directly in front of the closet door. I couldn't see a thing. After an agonizing pause, they continued on, over to the other side of the room and out the doorway again. They faded away down the hallway. I waited for what seemed like an eternity. There were no more sounds now, and I was trying to build up enough courage to open the door and flee. 3 things happened simultaneously just then. I was bombarded with a smell I can only describe as fresh roadkill.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's a
heard
dead
raspy
body.
breathing behind me in the dark closet, and I felt hot breath against the nape of my neck. That was enough for me to hurtle myself out from the confines of that nightmare space, relying on memory and scant moonlight to navigate through the darkened house. All the while, I heard footsteps chasing behind me, closing in with terrifying speed. It was a clumsy, torturous escape full of trips and bumps and blind stumbling. I never looked back, at least not until I had burst out the front door and into the country night. And when I did turn around, I saw absolutely nothing. There were no more footsteps and nobody was chasing me. That didn't stop me from running, though, all the way back to my aunt and uncle's house. There was a police car in the driveway when I got back. My parents were there too, worried sick. Everybody demanded to know where I had been. Apparently, when my cousins still hadn't found me by evening, they'd returned home to tell their parents. Eventually, the police were called in and informed me that they had already scoured every building on the farm. The insinuation that I was lying about my whereabouts didn't go unnoticed. None of it made any sense. It wasn't until years later that one of my cousins filled in a final piece of the story. He and his brothers had
shit.
spent hours searching for me like they said, but the part they didn't tell anyone was that they thought they spotted me in the window of the bedroom I was hiding in. But when they got closer, they saw that it wasn't me. A young boy neither of them recognized was smiling and waving down at them and gesturing for them to come upstairs. That's when they ran back home. All of this while I slept in the closet.
Boys, no. No. Boys, no. I will... Dude, I'm finna... Nah, dude, we keeping this back.
Mi amor. Papa. Niño.
Bueno.